Welcome back to Born Again Motoring. Today you join me in my C8 Corvette. Let's go. Okay, it's been a while since I posted a video in the C8, so let's set off. As promised in my S2K video, I said I would shortly record from the cockpit of this fine machine. So my C8 is my daily driver, which is kind of funny, and shout out to Marcus for clowning me for making my $30,000 Honda my weekend car and using my $85,000 American, what I'll call supercar, as my daily. It should be the other way around, but let me explain my justification for it. Number one, you can, if you have the means, you can go out and get a C8 all day in good condition. Parts are abundant because it's a new vehicle. You can get anything you need for it. It doesn't have the 22 years of wear and weather that can, you know, cause things to happen. This is pretty much a new car, so I'm a lot more comfortable driving this as my daily, though I take good care of it as well. The S2000 is, you know, it's becoming more and more rare to find a good one that's unmodified, so I treat that with a lot of additional care than I would this. But anyhow, I'm coming up on 6 months of ownership in the C8, and with it as my daily, I can honestly say it is probably one of the best daily sports cars slash, I will dare to say, supercars you can own. The ride is very, very compliant, and I have it in sports mode right now, but it soaks up bumps like nobody's business, all while delivering sports car like handling. Gas mileage is great. I'm probably averaging in the 20s with mixed use, and people can get better than that. Of course, this has active cylinder or cylinder deactivation, and it automatically does a quick switch. I wasn't a fan of that in my C7. Thankfully, I had a manual C7, so I didn't really have to deal with it too much based on my settings. I never really dealt with it. I know that it caused, or I guess there was some evidence that it may have caused engine failures. But yeah, I've never really had to worry about that. Here it happens, and I think they've mitigated some of the issues, and the gas mileage is great. This car is very comfortable. The interior, since this is a 3LT, it's all leather. One of my favorite things is the way it smells. I love the Corvette leather. This has 11,099 miles now, and it still smells like a brand new car, and it has this distinct smell. And for those that are like me, that tend to have a strong nose and pick up on scents, it's like, you know, new cars and new houses and new things have a smell, and we grow to really like those things or prefer those things. And yeah, this Corvettes have a particular smell to their leather. My first C7 had a smell And this smells similar, but even better because this is a 3LT, and my first Corvette was a 1LT. So there's more leather in the cabin. You know, I've got suede in the headliner. So there is that. But living with this car day to day has been great. I have all the horsepower I need. I have all the convenient features I need. Apple CarPlay. The sound system, the Bose sound system is wonderful. The performance in this car is the reason why I say supercar. Yes, it's attainable. You know, I think supercar category is what you'd want to consider more rare. But hey, there's a 4C squirrel. But yeah, the supercar, you know, I consider this car a supercar because of its performance capability. The cars from, you know, 20 years ago, this car is putting down better numbers. Not better than all of them, but many cars we consider supercars, this car puts down those numbers, and it does it comfortably, it does it reliably, and that's a package that as a driver and an enthusiast, I appreciate. So it's been a good ride. Like I can honestly recommend this to anybody. If you're in the market for a Cayman or even a 911 like base, if you've never driven a C8, drive one, because it checks a lot of boxes. Maintenance isn't too expensive. Oil changes can be a little expensive, and you do have to change the transmission fluid. And with that comes a filter replacement, just depending on the region you live in and how much you drive. But overall, the reliability has been solid. We're gonna have to do an acceleration. Let me put it in manual mode. Let's get an acceleration going here. There we go. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, I have no complaints about this car. No complaints, no gripes. As time goes on, I really do like the square steering wheel. I really do like the interior. I like the switch panel here. You know, the way everything is driver focused. It's meant for a driver, but it also is meant for, you know, the typical Corvette driver, but it's also meant for you know, the younger generation. And the styling doesn't get old. The styling, in fact, for me, gets better and better. I just, when I see these on the road, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I actually own one of those. And they look good when I see them coming up on my rearview mirror, and then the way the lights are designed, it's just, it's a complete package. And this is coming from somebody that got into cars primarily through the JDM car scene because of Initial D or even Fast and the Furious. That was my foray getting into cars. And growing up, you know, American cars, I didn't care for. Once I got into Corvettes, my first one, I started to understand why the Corvette was so good and what the package is. And yes, I know the typical buyer for them at that time, you know, they're a little bit more distinguished, and that's okay, because that's who can afford them. But if you have the opportunity to get in one, wow, this Sierra is aggressive, but if you have the opportunity to get into one and drive one and really understand what the car is, it offers a lot. It's not an S2000, just like the S2000 is not a Corvette, like obviously, right? But it's still a wonderful car. As I mentioned in my last video, the S2000 is more fun to drive because it's raw. This is the exact opposite. Let me lay out the opposites. S2000 is front mid-engine. This is rear mid-engine. So right there, I mean, the platform is fundamentally different, but this is all technology based. The S2000 is all manual, and not just the transmission, but everything. You don't have the driver's aids in my AP1. The only thing you have is you have ABS. But this, I mean, this has all of the controls, all of the nannies, and you can definitely turn them off, but it has launch control. We're talking about 20 years in difference in not just cars, but also class of car, because if you put the S2000 up against, so when the S2000 came out, there was the C5 Corvette and it bled into the C6 Corvette. Those Corvettes obviously own the S2000 all day, left, right, on any track. But still the S2000 is more fun because of that analog engagement. And this is just my opinion. I own both. I don't want to give up either. But driving a car that where me as a driver, I have to use all of my capabilities to drive the car, I appreciate that a little bit more. But this is faster in every way, in every single way. I would even bet on a toge on a small canyon road, this would be a lot faster, and that's okay. It's not about speed. I'm not racing every day. I'm enjoying driving. I'm enjoying the thrill of driving. I know that there's a C7 above, right in front of this GMC. I kind of wanted to see it, but anyhow, I say all that to say that, you know, this is a wonderful package. I've enjoyed every day. I've owned it. No gripes, no issues. There's a red C8 right there. Very nice. So yeah, if you haven't had the chance to drive one of these, definitely get behind the wheel. If you have a friend that has one, or go to a dealership if they'll let you drive it, and you see what it's about. Even if you're one of the members that says, oh, I can never get behind a Corvette, I don't appreciate a Corvette, I find a lot of that comes from people that just have never experienced one, that has never really gotten the chance to drive one. Comes from a lack of experience, like I said. So yeah, I will leave it there. Just a short little video about ownership, I guess an ownership update. Everything is well. I'll probably join you next from the S2000. Thank you all, take care, and God bless.